Well, it's good to be down here at DE. We were just looking at pictures of the snow at home. Me and Moriarty we're getting snow. We don't ever have that, so it's ice is coming too, but it's all right. I'd rather be at DE. I'd rather be at DE. We were, we went to Columbia yesterday. Me and Claudia. Steve joined us. Then Josh came and ordered food. Steve's like, you didn't even look at the menu. I'm like, no, I came for the pollo manchego. But I don't need to change anything. I know what works. I like it. No tomatoes, extra citrus sauce. If we go back today or tomorrow, I'm going to get the same thing. That's what we get when we go places. I get the same thing every time. Because I don't need to make a change, right? I don't need to change chiropractic. Chiropractic is sufficient. The pollo manchego is sufficient. It's enough. And it's probably the only thing I know how to pronounce. So I'm not going to order something else. But, we had a bull a while back that half the time we had to call the vet because half the time he would limp, half the time he'd walk normal. So we called the vet. We're like, what's wrong with this bull? They can get kind of expensive. Vet, he came, he looked at it, he's like, well, I don't really see much, but like, what should we do? He said, well, next time he walks normal, just sell him. But, that's what we do, right? That's what we do here. Like, we walk around, it's just tough. We have that heaviness getting on the plane. We get here, we're just like, oh, crap, like my life is just, feels like it's crumbling. But then we see somebody, then we're just like, oh, hey, man, how are you? Oh, I'm near perfect. I'm near perfect. Then we turn the corner where nobody can see us. We get back in our room, and then we cry ourselves to sleep. That's not okay. We think that we can't let anybody know that we're broken. We can't let anybody know we're hurt. Can't let anybody know that we're damaged. We try to impress people. But if we try to do that, we're just going to be discouraged and disappointed. Like, we got to come here and be real with ourselves and what's going on in our life and get right and square on this thing. And if you think anybody up here on this platform's got it together, nobody does. Nobody does. I know you'd show up to events sometimes and I'm just like, oh gosh, I just want to be here. I don't want anybody to ask me anything. I don't want to be an MC because somebody didn't show up. Nothing. I just want to be here. And with GCC it gets busy. We probably have 10 events a year maybe. So it's just especially after the first half of the year, it gets real busy. Just I just want to be here, and even up here on the platform, we don't stand up here because we're worthy. We stand up here because chiropractic's worthy, right? We have people come from Italy. We have people come from Newfoundland or Greenland, Iceland, somewhere where Esther's from. It's far away. It's and they don't come here because they're worthy. It's because chiropractic is worthy. Everybody wants to get better at giving and serving and loving and doing chiropractic. That's what we do here. We do that. And DE's not a place to hide your convictions. It's not a place to hide the truth of what you're going through. We got to be able to come here and say, I'm not all right. I'm not okay. It's today I'm in pain. Last night drank myself to sleep. Last night I smoked myself to sleep. I done this or that with this person because of the pain of loneliness. It's okay to say those things. You won't be judged. It's not like, oh, well, if I say that, I don't want to be known as the guy that's this or the gal that's that. It's not. We just got to be honest with what's going on with their lives, And if we're really honest, we can really grow. I know Steve last night was talking about Moriarty when he came. He was real honest about where he was in life. And now he's turned the corner on that. And look at him now. He's he's doing all right. But, and we say we want the truth, but I don't know if we really want the truth all the time. We want like surface expressions. We want the like, hey, I'm near perfect. I'm great, perfect, working on divine. But that's just not reality. We can't live the way we want if we're a principal DE chiropractor. We can't say the things we want to say if we're a principal DE chiropractor. We can't treat people the way we want to sometimes because we're a principal DE chiropractor. And what I mean by that is, I just want to run my mouth sometimes and tell people what I think of them. But that's not being a good witness, and that's what we're called to be. And some of our brightest minds are the worst witnesses. And nothing wrong with having intellect. That's great. But we got to be a witness. And a lawyer, he argues the case, right? A witness doesn't. A witness just tells what is seen, what is heard, and the facts. I'd rather be a witness. Like whoever it was saying that somebody would make a disparaging reply to a post and they just delete it. They're not going to argue with them. That's all right. Going to be a witness. Like, these are the facts and do with them what you will, And I think one reason so many in our profession don't witness is because they haven't seen a whole lot of things to witness to. CoQ10 changed my life. Really? Zinc's where it's at. Aronica laser. I've been trying that, and it's not working. It's still there. Went on a raw food diet, and I gained weight. The cookie dough. It just packs on. It just packs on. But they haven't seen or heard anything worth witnessing for. Has CoQ10 changed lives? I hadn't seen that. But now us in this room, we have an intimate relationship with this principle and chiropractic, with this profession, with Dynamic Essentials, with Lasting Purpose. We can't help but witness. We can't help but witness because everything that we see. And we don't have all the answers, and it's okay to say you don't have all the answers. And patients know when we're blowing smoke at them. It's all right to say, I don't know, but you don't need any pressure on your brain stalk. Otherwise, I don't know. And wrote this down. When you stop pretending you know things that you don't know, people start believing you when you tell them what you do know. When you stop pretending you know things that you don't know, people start believing you when you tell them what you do know. We can't be blowing smoke at them. Only thing I know is a body with subluxations is bad. I can correct that. Nobody else in the world can correct that but chiropractors. That's what we do, nothing else. I'm not trying to be standard process chiropractor of the year. Don't want to be. I don't want to be Arconia, whatever. I don't even know how you say it. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Chiropractor. I just don't. And, we love to eat. We will go places just to eat. We went to Chicago just to eat pizza and come home. I'm like, some of that pizza would be great. Let's go get some. Went up there, ate, and come back. But we love to eat, right? Like, it just love to eat. We were, I may be Jethro's Coffee House Chiropractor of the Year, though. That's this little place we go to. As much as Eddie goes to Sergio's, they have their little Christmas holiday party, little coffee place next door to us. Not next door, like it's 20 minutes away. That's next door to us, but go up there, always get a cortado, dash of cinnamon, no lid. At their Christmas party, they had a little trivia game. What's the guy's name that gets a cortado with a dash of cinnamon, no lid? Everybody like, Drew. I'm like, yeah. I'm Jethro's Chiropractor of the Year. But you know, I was eating a while back, and waitress come by and said, well, how is it? I said, well, it's not good. You know, it's bad. It's all right. She's like, can I do anything? I'm like, well, you have any biscuits? And she's like, yeah, I'll get some biscuits. So she left. She come back about 15 minutes, little wicker basket with a cloth on it, probably half a dozen biscuits in there. Got my fork, cracked them open, butter on one side, sorghum on the other, and just like ate it, you know, that greasy bottom. It was like the best biscuit, you know, and I focused on that biscuit, and it overshadowed that bad meal I just got. You know, just overshadowed it. And we all have pain somewhere in our story, like every one of us. We got pain, hurt, disappointment, strife, tragedy, oppression, depression. Every one of us do. You know, it's okay. But now, if we look down our mind and focus on what we have, focus on what we've been given, that just don't seem hardly as bad. We got to focus on what we got. You know, there's a teacher. She gave the class a problem. She said, all right, everybody write this down. 1 plus 1 minus 1 equals what? Little girl, she raised her hand. She said, 2. I said, no, let me say it again. 1 plus 1 minus 1 equals what? She's like, 2. Like, no, she went over there and see what she wrote down. And she wrote down 1 plus 1 equals 2. So she missed it. She was wrong because she was good with the addition, but she wasn't good at the subtraction. You know, good at the addition, but she got it wrong because she didn't take anything away. I know people like that. You know, they think they're right on this chiropractic thing. They keep adding things, but they never subtract anything. Keep adding, never subtracting. And like, why won't chiropractors be principled today? Like, why are we not hardcore like when it was when I was in school? And that was, I think, on the big scale, we were probably softer then too than it was back in the 70s and 80s. I remember Bob Sotilli, just a tape, I didn't get to hear him, but you could hear him like, he like, I smell them in here right now. You know, I'm not saying I do, but that's how hardcore it was. And what he was talking about, he's not talking about progressive chiropractors. That's just being more inclusive, which has got us where we're at now. He was talking about rank-ass mixers, what he was smelling. You know? It's, we want to keep adding without subtracting. You know, we can't get right and square on this thing if we keep adding crap to it. You know, this stuff isn't chiropractic. It's wretched. It's not right. Doesn't belong in chiropractic offices. It won't ever belong in our office. You know, it just won't. It's not going to be there. We got the addition right. we got to do the subtraction right. You know, I saw a little dude this morning throwing up. Hope he's all right. Hope he's running around. I think I saw him running around later, but he was throwing up at breakfast, and I hate to see him like sick, you know, like he's just standing there and it occurred to me, I'm like, maybe he heard what I've heard before, and that made him upchuck, because I hate hearing people say my truth. Well, my truth is chiropractic's this or chiropractic's that. But there's just the truth. There's nothing else. There's nothing else. And we're like, oh, well, what do you mean, man? You're not, I'm getting offended. I don't care. Because, like, let's say I go over here to Home Depot, Lowe's or whatever's down here. I get some 2x4s, some 1/4-inch plywood, make me some wing, get a piece of wood. Claudia carves out a beak for me. I go down here, catch a seagull or egret, whatever those things are, and get some feathers and tape on me. The whole time I'm saying 100 times, I'm a bird, I'm a bird, I'm a bird. I get my whole outfit up. I go back up to Atlanta, Spaghetti Junction, Tom Moreland Interchange. You know, it's 200 feet up in the air, that overpass is. The whole way, y'all think I'm Cisco or Usher or whoever, R. Kelly singing, I Believe I Can Fly, right? I'm standing up there, I get off that overpass, hold my plywood wings out and jump. I'm going one direction. Because the truth is, I'm not a bird. Like, truth is, this crap's not chiropractic. You know? And it's not right. You know, and the truth's not confusing. It's not complicated. It's black and white. Like when Liz said, hey, what's your favorite quote? I'm like, Stevenson, 1927. Poor chiropractors are apt to substitute machinery for knowledge. You know? I don't want any machines. And we can't continue to bend the truth to be inclusive. You know, and people who hear the truth and say, oh, well, you know, that's just legalism to me. That's just hate straight or whatever you want to call it. Just lukewarm. Just lukewarm. And lukewarm is going to be spit out. You know, who likes cold coffee? Who likes hot coffee? Nobody wants room temperature coffee. You know, it's useless. And the truth is offensive to a lot of people because they've strayed from what chiropractic is. They've strayed. And we can laugh and smile and all that, and I don't mean necessarily in this room, I don't know. But we're hurting the profession. We wonder why we're in the profession like the shape we're in because of this crap. People say, oh, well, you know, I do some of this stuff. And then we don't see them at DE forever. You see them on social and like their life is just crumbling. And they're so poor, the only thing they have is money. You know, the only thing they have is money. You know, God called Noah, I'm not preaching, I swear, preacher of righteousness. You know, he preached 120 years, and 7 people got on the boat with him. 7. You know, Peter preached, 3,000 people got saved. Like, right around the same time, Stephen did. He was murdered. He's killed. Same message. It's not like how they hear it. You know, it's that they hear it. You know, we got to tell them. I know Pope John Paul said this about the faith. I apply it to chiropractic. He said, we must defend the truth at all cost, even if we are reduced to just 12 again. I'm good with it. I don't have to be inclusive. I still love people. But we can't call ourselves chiropractors if we're doing some of this stuff. I used to fish some, those big treble hooks, got 3 hooks on them. You could put some bait on there and just cast it out. And you just pop that hook sometimes. You can catch you a fish. They don't even have to bite it. You just pop it and it'll snag them. They snag them back here on their belly or their face or whatever. You can reel them in. They don't have to bite the bait. I know chiropractors, they just got too close to it. They just looked at it. And next thing you know, doing all kinds of stuff. And justifying it. Like, don't have to justify anything we do in the office. We do subluxation correction with an adjustment. That's it. Not CoQ10. But they got caught up in it. We got some water. I'm a little thirsty. Oh, yeah. There she is. This used. No, it's fine. It'll work. No, I'm fine. No, you're good. This is perfect, really. No, I'm taking it. I'm keeping it. I'm doing something with it. See how clean and pure that water is? Now, that's good water, right? Maybe I won't spill it. Here's like some oil, right? Had to go up here to the convenience store to buy it. Like, it was expensive and it had dust all over it. But here's oil, right? This water is like perfect, right? It's drinkable. It's good. It'll sustain us when we're in the desert. But now let's take some of this oil. Hey, like that big ring. I got the DE sticking out so people know where I'm from. Now, see this water? Here's some oil. Look at that. Well, there that is. Let me, I don't want to spill this and DE have to pay a cleanup charge. Now, who wants a sip of that? Yeah, who wants some of that? I don't. But now if I drank that, would I probably die right now? I probably wouldn't. Probably wouldn't. There's a chance for anything. I probably wouldn't die on stage if I drank this. But now a diet of this will kill you, right? A diet of this in the profession will kill it. And that's where we're at. How much, this water's chiropractic. That water's the principle. The oil is everything else. Like, how much oil are you willing to have in the water? I'm not willing to have a drop. I don't want to drink it. I won't drink it. How much false teaching and mixing are we willing to put up with in chiropractic? Not any for me. And if, don't necessarily mean in the room, I'm probably just looking at the camera or social or whatever. If somebody has a problem with it and like wants to squabble, that's okay. Like, I'm easy to find. But when you stand on truth, you're on good foundations. You can't argue principle. So I'm good. Anybody want to call and talk about it? We will. I don't care. I don't necessarily mean anybody in here. But we got to get on the right side of this thing. We're going to have lunch in a minute. You got to decide where you're at on this. I want to be in the wheelhouse on the right ship. I don't want to be behind the wheel. I just want to be in the wheelhouse. I want to help us get to where we need to be. And if you want to decide at lunch, be all in. Be all in. Join your good state organizations. Do the DE monthly thing, so you don't even have to register for DE. You just show up. It's simple. It's black and white. But If you don't want to be in it, you don't want to help, you want to continue to hurt the profession, that's okay. Just know that's the lot that you're taking in life. I want to be on the right side of this thing. I want my last day to be like, well, he stuck to those principles, didn't he? Yeah, I did. And we're doing all right. We're doing all right. If you want to stay in this room, go to lunch, decide where you're at on this, and get back in here and just be all in. Not just for the meeting, the rest of this year, 2026, and just the rest of your life. It's a lifetime commitment to this thing. And we hope you join all of us. But we love you. We appreciate you. We'll be back at like 2 or 2:30. Liz knows. But thank y'all.